I just want to tell you about something that happened through prayer at Mission Heart. And it may seem really insignificant to some people, but this sort of thing happens a lot, particularly around Mission Heart. And I used to see people sometimes on the street, people I hadn't met before, and I just used to get this feeling, I just think, God really wants that person to come to Mission Heart. And, you know, I didn't always have the confidence to go straight up to people and invite them along. And so when I'd see them, I would just pray. And I'd just say, God, I think that person really needs to come to Mission Heart. Can you bring them along? As simple as that. And quite often I would see this fellow as I was driving into church on a Sunday in Civic, and I'd see this fellow, and he obviously had some sort of intellectual disability, mental illness, and he was often talking to himself, sort of waving his arms around a bit, you know, the sort of guy that does sort of attract people's attention. So I noticed him quite regularly, particularly on a Sunday, wandering around Civic. So I started praying for him and saying, God, I really think he needs to come along. Bring him along. And sure enough, this fellow arrived. He came not from invitation from anyone. I don't even know how he knew we were there or how to get to us, but he did. And he came along and he started to participate in our community and he started to get to know people. And eventually he started coming to our home group, the one at our house, and he had to catch 2 buses there and back to get to our home group. And for a guy with an intellectual disability and mental illness to be doing that every week, sometimes on a cold winter's night, was a big deal. And even when other people in our group couldn't make it, and we really had no one coming that night, he would still come. He would still make that trek and come and sit in our lounge room. We'd talk, we'd pray, we'd play games. He'd just sort of hang out with our family. And he started to change. He didn't understand the things of God when he came. And then he started to understand a bit more. And the things that came out, while they initially didn't always make sense, we started to understand that his faith was starting to take shape. And this came about just through a very, very simple prayer. God, bring him along. And God answered and was faithful.